Hi guys, we'll be talking about the metal element today. Metal is the other element in the Chinese five-element theory that is different from the Western elements. It is closely connected to the air, but it is different in various ways. Unlike air, metal has way more substance and it rains things in our life that usually we don't assign to air. The metal is connected to the later Middle Age, to the harvest period in our life, to lungs and the colon, and to the wisdom and change in our life. It is all about letting go the big changes and the righteousness. Just like in fall, all the juices in the trees and in the herbs are turning inwards and toward the roots. This happens also in our body and in our mind. If we work with our metal element, we can get the visions of who we really are. In life, metal deals with loss and separation of either people that we were close to, or jobs, or living situation. It has to do with both loss that we do not expect and the loss that happens when we let go of people. This part of life comes after the parenthood age. It is normal, or should be normal, to let go of our kids so they can grow up into adults. They can take on a role of an adult person. And many cultures leave this out differently. For example, in Japan, when a person turns 21, the parents are friends of that person. They do not interfere in their lives. In some other countries, several generations live together. And this shows that we do not do the necessary step in this cycle of life as it should be naturally. It is the time of understanding the lessons in life. It is not enough to say, oh, I heard this or I learned this now. It's a true understanding which brings wisdom and possibility to actually use what we learned. A healthy metal element lets go of old patterns, of old roles, excuses, grudges that we hold against other people. It's not a surprise that this hour is the witching hour, or 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning. This is when the metal organs are the strongest. According to some medical statistics, this is also the time when most of people die. So it is not a wonder that we let go of our bodies at the exact hour when our metal element is the strongest. Metal is strongest in the fall. Its taste is spicy or aromatic. So the most metal thing you can ingest is, let's say, a spicy curry. Color is white, and it is a time of revolution. The emotion connected to the metal is grief and sorrow. If we have a normal metal element, a healthy metal element, these emotions will not take over. Everybody needs an ending to whatever they have lost. In life, this happens several times. So denying that the loss happened can postpone the grief process, which is important for the healing. If the metal element is weak, however, we can experience perpetual sorrow or even depression. If we are dealing with depression, it will always help to make our metal element stronger, either with food or herbs or with different techniques. In Magick, the tool connected to the metal element is the atome, like this tiny one or the bigger ones, doesn't matter. The atome cuts the changes and it points the energy very precisely where we need it. While working with the metal element, it is most beneficial to work on cutting the ties to the people who are abusive to us. In the earth element, we talked about the parents and our closest environment. In metal, people who are very aggressive, and this mostly has to do with work or friend circle or just anybody who we come across who tries to take advantage in any possible way. This is also the element where we try to manifest big changes in our life. A job, a new house, a new partner, these are all the stuff that would change our life from the base up. It is perfect to work on boundaries and distance to other people. Be it that we have too much distance and too many boundaries, so we don't let anyone come close for whatever reason, or we don't have any and people are constantly interfering with our lives and we do not know how to tell them to leave us alone and that this is our life and not their life. Metal element is also very successful when doing magical attacks, which, depending on the path, might be something you're doing or not doing. And the last thing that might be very beneficial working on is the rebirth of our egoless self. Of course, everybody has an ego and that ego will remain there forever. But we can work on our issues that we have, and when we have processed the issues and let go of them, then our ego becomes silent and we're able to know and to speak our true voice. In Astral, we can work on changing our environment and the situations we're in. If we are the person who is unable to argue and doesn't like arguing or doesn't know what to say at the proper time, we can use the astral techniques to actually stop the aggressors. We can replay the situations until we have found our voice and what we need to tell them. I'd say that metal is responsible for any type of possession work in magic or in the astral realm by a deity or whatever other entity or between each other. The metal is essential for shadow work. A person is never done with their shadow work and the change they're doing. It is not a circle. When we're doing shadow work, we're doing a process of several things that we experienced. And then eventually we come here and say, we're done with this process. But if you turn it around, you can realize that you're not at the same place where you started, but you're above. So it's actually an upward going spiral. So shadow work is another kind of tempering process. We're talking about the metal here and turning the iron into steel. In our life and in magic, our intentions and the way we are the beginning material that we are working with. To temper that material and turn it into what we really are, we need to remove the impurities. This is not a one-time process. It is something that we work on throughout life. To enter the metal realm, we need to build a portal like for every other element. Now you can build it either from the ethereal stuff like light and wind if you are more prone to using the air as a mental image, or you can use the metal parts. This usually opens the portal to this realm. It is often also mixed with the earth element a little bit because they depend on each other, but this realm looks much different than the earth realm. Once you cross the portal, the imagery can be either connected to air, to metal, or to both. We do not control this. This is just something that our mind does. And in there, you can expect epic scenes. Either some kind of war that you're leading against others or yourself, or a different kind of image where you get to see yourself the way you are, either by looking in a mirror or meeting the entities that will lead you to your true self. And it's very exciting because not many of us are working with this element or have worked with this element. The element of the air, as we see, is rather unstable. It doesn't have substance to it. So it's everything that's ethereal, light, and, fluffy, and so on. But metal is different, and it adds some weight to your experience. A metal, the knife cuts deeper, and it will precisely remove what you want to remove or place back what you need in your life. It is said that our lungs are receiving the pure chi from heavens, which is the energy that makes life possible. It is taking in the pure and eliminating the old and the unneeded. There is nothing fresher than the crisp autumn air. This is why we're more prone to turning inward during the fall season and to try to truly understand who we are or what we are doing in life. This is the best time to open up the crown chakra, actually, because by cleaning our bodies and letting go of stuff, we open up our crown chakra and connect better to either the collective consciousness or gods or however you see it. This is also why metal element is the best element to deal with fasting. When the summer is over, we stop using our energy excessively. Summer is all about going out, and then the fall comes and we're turning inward, meaning we lose less energy. So if you plan any type of cleansing of your body, you can count on this being the best time, the fall time, and the time we'll work with the metal element, because this will also clear all the mental debris, all the emotional debris that we hold on to. Most fasting techniques imply that we do not take in food or drinks other than water and tea. This can take up from 1 day to 3-4 days, depending on the person and why they're doing it. It is no wonder that most teas used for this type of fasting also help us eliminate everything from our big intestine. People who have already tried this as a spiritual technique know that the mind is so much clearer when there is nothing in our belly. And this is why the scholars from all around the earth have used this as a way to gain more insight. So very often, if we're in a chaotic situation, something happened and we do not have control over it, it helps to retreat, to let go of worry, because when we do, this is when we receive the new insight and the solutions. If our stomach is not full and our stomach is not pulling all the blood in order to be able to digest what we just ate, all the blood is there for us and for our brain to use for the thinking process. The metal gives the worth to the ground, to the soil, like the gold and silver that we mine out. Metal element gives us the feeling of self-worth and value. When we are able to let go of the old, we are able to receive the new. So it lets us discover our true self. People can see it in our determination and how we do stuff, and we are able to make decisions. If the metal element is not strong enough, we have such a hard time making any decision, be it a big one or even a tiny one like what we're going to have for lunch. When there is a metal imbalance in our body, we will be seeking approval from the outside because we have a sense that there is something lacking from it within. An imbalanced metal is collecting stuff. It can't let go of everything material that we are trying to keep to ourselves. The possessions are very important. Bragging about the possession is very important. When the metal is not clean and clear and strong, we have a cluttered attic in our mind. Everything, all the thoughts we have are hard to come by because we can't see things clearly. We just bring in stuff and we never remove anything, be it as physical stuff or just the thoughts that we have. An unbalanced metal element can make us feel like we are better or smarter than other people. It creates a certain attitude and arrogance that we see in some people. So we can see that this element is making decisions where we are going, in which direction, what are we leaving behind. In order to restore the metal element, we can learn how to keep it in balance. So obviously, one of the ways is to use aromatherapy. Any type of scent actually impacts us a lot in our metal element and can strengthen it or lower the excess. On a physical plane, we can declutter our homes and give away the stuff that we do not use. I personally have a rule: if I have not used something for a year, somebody else might have a better use for it. Giving away stuff teaches us that we are able to live without huge possessions, without the stuff that we thought we can't live without. So we can control our emotions. And if we want to work on our metal element, we urgently have to let go of our bad attitudes, of prejudice, of envy, and of grudges against other people. Only then can we balance out our emotions. If our situation has to do with the stuff we cannot control, we can write down on the paper what we're sad about, what makes us angry, and burn the paper. We often do this in Magick as a sign that we have let go of what happened and we are able to continue forward. There is so much more about the metal element. Every big revolution has started with people who have strong metal in themselves. People with a strong metal are very righteous. They will not support you just because you're their friend, but they will rather tell you what you're doing wrong and expect the same from you. By strengthening our metal, we can strengthen our integrity and our decision-making process. I will be attaching a blog post with some more info in the description. If you have any questions, please comment down below and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for being here.